Here we go, Will. You're listening to That's Good Sports podcast. That is what is happening inside of your ears at this very moment. I'm Brandon Perna here with Will Keys. Definitely not having any technical difficulties today with the internet. That is not happening.
And if they do happen, the edits will be so seamless that you'll never know.
Yep, or I'll forget to edit it after we record. So we'll see. Today, though, we do have football coming out of our mouths. Richard Sherman hinting at a work stoppage. Kaepernick hinting at a not work stoppage, but probably still a work stoppage. Will and I are going to talk about some of the shit we got wrong heading into this football season, some of the things we got right, and then we'll pick all of the games like usual. And there has been a pretty significant development here, a changing of the guard.
No, I don't like it one bit.
Will went 3-10 last week with his picks. That's bad. You got to try to be that bad. And now, on the season total, I have pulled ahead of Will 86-61, and Will is at 85-62. Shout out to ya boy Big T, at ya boy Big T on Twitter. Everybody go give him a follow. He's been tracking this for us because Will and I are not organized enough to do so. So Will, how does it feel to be a loser?
Yeah, it doesn't feel great. I haven't felt this way in quite a while. So I guess I'll just defer to you. What does it feel like to be a loser most of the time?
Well, it feels worse than being a winner. I can put it that way. I thought I was doing pretty bad last week with my picks. So it was a pleasant surprise to see you only got 3 of them right.
I mean, to be fair, like once I make these picks, I'd completely forget about them. And
me too.
No idea what I picked until your boy comes in and lets us know how we did, which, I don't double check it. He could be making these up every week. He might be doing that just to create drama.
Yeah.
Because right now it's the most exciting narrative of this season, I think.
Yeah. It's really testing our relationship.
Yes.
And the only pick I remember getting was Seattle, the Seahawks.
Okay, see, so I went with my hard and fast rules last week, if you'll remember. I said I'm not picking Kirk Cousins in a primetime game against a good team. And that one backfired on me.
Yep.
And then I said I'm not picking against the 49ers until they lose a game. And they said, hey, we'll just watch. We're going to lose a game right now.
We're gonna go all the way to the end of overtime.
Yep. Tremendous game. I hate 10-minute overtimes. I want more.
I always forget that the overtimes are only 10 minutes. It doesn't make sense to me.
No, it makes teams have to play for ties rather than, trying to win, actually.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody just wanted to see that game keep going.
Yeah. The Buffalo Wild Wings gods pushed Chase McLaughlin's field goal like 40 yards to the left.
Yes, they did. Very, very wide. Although,
other than that, a great game. A good week of football, I thought. Pretty good week.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the Cowboys lose in prime time. You're not going to complain about that.
No,
Broncos
never.
had a bye week, so we have nothing to complain about as Broncos fans.
Undefeated.
What else? What else happened? Anything?
The Titans beat the Chiefs.
The Titans beat the Chiefs. The AFC West is tight. This is a tight race in the AFC West now. You were supposed to go on a Tinder date today, Will. And
it's true.
Just so everybody knows, we were going to record early, which is 10:30 my time, 9:30 Will's time.
Yeah,
and
it would have been a bad show. Let's be honest. If I had to do it at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, Will texted me. My date got pushed back. We can record at normal time. Going back to bed.
Yeah.
So we are doing it now. I was going to give you just like really good dating advice, but
Oh, I still want it.
is the date, did you guys lock in a new date or is it just,
Yeah.
okay, so when's it
Yeah.
happening? Tomorrow?
No,
Saturday?
Monday. Monday night.
Monday. Ooh,
Yeah.
Monday night. During Monday Night Football?
Well, Brandon, Monday Night Football starts here at like 5:15, so
Uh,
we got the whole night. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I remember the days when internet
How long has
dates.
it been since you've been on a date? 10 years, 20 years,
No,
25 years?
let's see. Uh, like
This millennium.
7 or 8 years.
7 years?
7 or 8 years.
Okay. How the last one before you met your wife, how did that one go?
Um, I think actually, like I was hitting a pretty good rhythm of dating, which was out of the norm for me. And then I had, I don't really remember. Once my wife came into the picture, none of it mattered. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would hope so.
Like once that started, it's hard because it was a long time ago. But I remember using the internet and plenty of dates getting pushed back then to never happen. But my wife and I started dating like right when Tinder came out. So like I never was on Tinder. I had to do shit like Plenty of Fish and OK Cupid and all of that bullshit.
Yeah.
But I feel like I was in LA, so I don't know, it seemed
Right.
a little easier to date out there, but I don't know.
I feel like it'd be harder, but I also don't know. You famously, I don't know if you told the story on the show, but you took your first date with your wife was to Chili's.
Oh yeah.
Do you think I should do that too? Think I should?
No. No.
You sure?
See, Jess and I had a rapport. We were friends first. It wasn't like she was a stranger. It was like we had been joking that I'd gotten a Chili's gift card for Christmas, and I would take her.
About it.
I would take her there on my first date, and the closest Chili's to us was like 40 minutes away.
How is that possible in Los Angeles?
Well, the closest one was in Manhattan Beach. Like
Jeez.
we were in an area where there was not a lot of chain restaurants around. There was no Outback was closed. There was no I don't know, whatever. All of the chains that you just want weren't around. So we had to go out of our way to go to Chili's. And
wow, that's commitment. That's going above and beyond. And no wonder you're married today.
Yep.
Still married.
Still happily married. And
yep.
It's all because of Chili's.
This has been the most elaborate ad read
today's episode
for Chili's Bar and Grill,
brought to you by Chili's.
I wish we were sponsored by Chili's.
Yeah, then it would be really easy for you to take your date there.
Instead, whatever. We're actually sponsored by Blue Chew.
Yeah. So do you
maybe
want me
Roman? Their direct competitor.
One of my next videos is going to be sponsored by Roman. Did I tell you that?
I read it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, Roman. Going to be so good. I'm so excited to do that.
It's about time.
Ad read on my YouTube, my other YouTube channel.
Yep.
Okay. I wanted to read this Richard Sherman tweet and just get your thoughts, because Sherman took to Twitter to say our players should continue to save their money and be prepared for a work stoppage at the expiration of the current CBA. Our greatest strength is in our solidarity. So, to me, that means players are a lot of the at least the veteran players are ready to try and get what they want from the NFL. The responses from Twitter, I thought right away were interesting, but do you think a work stoppage is going to happen?
I hope not. Obviously, it feels like the last lockout was 2010, 2011 maybe, after the 2010 season. And that one felt like it was going to hit pretty hard. And then we only ended up missing, I think, the Hall of Fame game. So not really a big deal.
Yeah, so not a
This
stoppage
one,
at all.
right, yeah. So this time we have a pretty big issue on the table, which is the 17-game season. It feels like over the last 10 years, things have gotten – I mean, you can see some politics too, but in sports, it feels like there's a bigger divide between players and owners than there ever has been. And I don't know if that's just because we're hyper aware of it now because of social media, stuff like this. 10 years ago, we wouldn't have gotten Richard Sherman tweeting,
Yeah.
On behalf of the NFL Players Association, most likely. So it's a different time. It's a different age. We're going to see these negotiations play out real time, and we're probably going to get more insight into it than ever before.
Should be juicy.
I really hope we don't miss any time because, what the hell else am I going to do on my Sundays?
Well, yeah. I mean, now that this is how we make a part of our, well, all of my living, part of your living.
Yeah, what the hell are we going to do?
Yeah. I mean, I hope it gets heated this offseason so it makes for some good videos, but I think you're right. Like, I think players are realizing how much power they do have now and that they are obviously like the driving force behind the league. And it is because of social. They have so much access to brand themselves. So, like the playing fields, I think it's becoming a little bit different. Did you watch this last season of Ballers?
I've only seen the first episode of Ballers. I'm sad to report.
Well, they talk about a lot of this stuff, and they stay pretty current with what's actually going on in the NFL. And I'm not saying it's like a great show. I find it pretty entertaining, but they have Shooter McGavin plays basically Jerry Jones, and
right.
The whole thing was like the 18-game season, and I think there's a lot of truth to players kind of being willing to probably go with the 17-game season if they can get everything else that they want. But the responses on Twitter right away were let's see here. Well, Mr. C. David said, most young players don't care about solidarity and the greater good. They've been working their whole lives for a small window of high earning potential that will support them and their extended family / friends. They know the window is brief. No way they are giving that up. I thought that was a decent comment because I think it's partially true in that it is tough to ask these young guys who have waited their whole life for this opportunity to put that on hold for the bigger picture. And when you don't have that financial security, like a lot of young players, even guys who've been in the league for maybe, like 2 years, and they're making the league minimum, which is still a really good amount of money, but it's not fair to say like all of these people should have, $300K in the bank ready to live off of for however long.
Yeah, and they've got other people to support too in a lot of cases. And some of them, declare early for the purpose of, getting that paycheck a year earlier.
Yeah. So, I mean, but I think like the thing there is we don't know where all of the players kind of are on this. Like it's hard to say. I think it's really hard to organize any group of people to all agree to do one thing anyway. So when money's involved, that gets even more complicated. But I think that just shows like how tough it might be for the players to provide like a cohesive voice against the NFL. But then like, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's like try talking a running back into, sitting out a whole year. 'Cause they don't last very long. And, once you get to, I mean, I know it's a year without getting hit, but even, giving up like your age 23 season as a running back is a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to negotiate. And I wouldn't blame them for not wanting to do that considering their lifespan in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't think like I think if the message gets clear across to the NFL that the players aren't going to budge, that there's no I just don't think we're going to miss a whole year of football.
No, I
So
sure hope not.
I don't think like you have to convince players that they definitely need to have like a whole season's worth of savings.
I think that's what they're telling. I think that's kind of the rallying point is like we have to prepare for this possibility,
Well,
not an
yeah,
inevitability, but you have to be prepared to take it that far.
yeah,
Otherwise, you don't have the leverage against owners who financially they don't have that same kind of
no,
sacrifice in this type of
no.
situation. Obviously,
I'll accept Mark Davis's PF Chang's budget. But I
oh
think
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. No, he's going to be eating at Chili's with you.
yeah, I got gift cards, Mark. I think though, if the NFL, if the owners get the impression that the players are willing to sit out a whole season, then they will make concessions. I think they already have to make some concessions anyway, but I think giving the impression that the players have to give the impression that they are willing to be out for a year. So it'll be an interesting thing to watch. I think it's interesting that that Richard Sherman just kind of out of nowhere tweeted about it. So it's obviously, I think, becoming a bigger issue.
I also wonder like how many players are like, why are you our spokesperson? Why is this guy speak on behalf of all of us all the time? I kind of like, I have no idea. I have no insight into this, but I get that impression that if I was a player, I'd be like, can we have someone else represent us?
Can we have Baker Mayfield represent us?
This is the same. Yeah, this is the same guy that, made up not getting a handshake at the opening coin toss from Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, well, I think Richard Sherman is one of the more intelligent guys in the league.
Yeah, and he'll let you know about it.
I was gonna say his ego gets in the way of maybe some of his credibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, Richard Sherman. It would be really funny if like Richie Incognito was that voice for everybody. Or
yeah, no, I want Incognito because
who would be the worst player?
Sherman's the brains and Incognito's the muscles.
Yeah,
he'll come in and if you don't act right, he'll threaten to take your head off. Literally,
Sherman and Incognito. That's a really good like buddy cop show. Yeah,
novel, yeah, I like it.
Okay, so
let's see. So okay, we've got this probably the biggest news of the week, I think.
I thought so.
The Colin Kaepernick workout that's supposed to happen this Saturday in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Falcons practice facility.
Yeah.
First of all,
we did a video on it.
We did a video, but just to kind of clarify or to go over it once again, the NFL set this up, and they told Colin Kaepernick, I think like a couple weeks in advance that it's going to happen on this day. They usually do these workouts on Tuesdays because that's when the players are off and that's when the scouts have time. That's kind of when you can organize these kind of things and get the most, attention possible. But they put it on Saturday when you got college football, you got, the full NBA slate. You got all these things going on to, I don't know, distract from it, I guess.
And teams that got to play the next day.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you got football teams are 24 hours away from playing a game. It's strange that they didn't put it on a Tuesday. Kaepernick's representatives wanted it either on a Tuesday or the following Saturday so they could get a little more time to get the most make the most use out of it. Either way, he's getting a shot in front of X amount of scouts, general managers, coaches. Joe Philbin, the former Dolphins coach, is running the workout. They're getting kind of street free agents and local guys to play receiver for him. The Broncos are sending a scout as we heard from Mike Kliss.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't really know what's going to go on here, but I imagine it's going to be like a pro day of some kind. They're going to measure him, interview him, see how he's throwing, make him throw outs and deep balls and in-breaking balls and the whole kind of thing. You know what a pro day looks like. So my question for you is, what are the chances that this leads to something for him?
If I knew that well, we'd be making a lot more money.
Or is this just like a formality, do you think, to
Well, I think what happened is
get the NFL
that
off the hook?
I think this is a PR type move for the NFL. I think they want to give the impression that they are giving Kaepernick a chance. But I think there are a handful of teams who are actually interested in his services. So, like, from what I've read is that the reason the NFL is doing this is because teams were inquiring about bringing Kaepernick in for a workout, basically trying to get the blessing from the NFL. So
do they need the blessing from the NFL necessarily? I know they
not when you're doing it normally, like
right, because they settled.
But if they feel like they have to get the NFL's permission, it means there's something bigger going on here.
A little strange.
Yeah, I don't want to get into that, but I think what it means is that there were a few teams actually interested in evaluating him, and I think those teams will probably have people at this pro day workout thing, and that if Kaepernick looks good, then he may get a chance with one of these teams. But I think mostly it is not like a feasible, like if you're looking at it from the perspective of every team going there to actually, like, I don't think the Broncos are really interested in his services to be a quarterback. I think they're sending someone there just so they look like they are playing along or whatever. But whatever teams are interested, I think that he might get a shot because of that. And I think that's kind of why this happened. But, I mean, I think if I had to bet on it, I would say we still don't see him in the league. Especially if you factor in a work stoppage this offseason, like things might just get crazy where even if a team wanted him, it doesn't happen. But I think there is somewhat of a possibility for him to make it somewhere, but somebody has to want him.
Right. And you think about, like, what's the perfect spot for him in this league? He's not a starter anymore. I don't think he was. I mean, we went over this in the video too. I don't think he was a starter anywhere after 2016. He played himself out of a job in San Francisco. He got benched for Blaine Gabbert with the 49ers his last year. He got benched the year before that for Blaine Gabbert too. But, the ideal spot.
Nothing kills your career like Blaine Gabbert coming off the bench,
Exactly, yeah. And then you're toast after that. Just look at Marcus Mariota. But I think the only place you could see him right now that makes a lot of sense and is like a significant role in the NFL is Lamar Jackson's backup. And the only way that happens is you get rid of RG3, which I don't think they want to do.
No, I think they're pretty happy with RG3. The Seahawks don't need him because they have Geno Smith. And as we learned, Geno Smith can call heads and tails at the same time, which
it's a great asset to have.
That is better than having maybe a better backup quarterback overall. Who's the backup in Houston?
It's a great question. My first thought was Tom Savage. And then I thought maybe Brian Hoyer. Maybe Ryan Mallett. Is Ryan Mallett the backup there?
Maybe. No, not anymore. That can't be true. I think actually, what's funny is
it David Carr?
I
have to look it up.
Yeah, he's multitasking with his NFL Network duties and backing up Houston. But
Tony Banks.
Yeah, I don't know.
AJ McCarron.
Oh, AJ. So they don't need him.
Looks like. Yeah.
But
I mean,
I think
AJ McCarron's not great.
I wanted to write this joke in yesterday, but it was too late when I remembered it. The Miami Dolphins. Because you remember when Kaepernick caught all that heat? The first Kaepernick controversy was he wore a Dolphins hat when he played for the 49ers.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Why the fuck would you do that?
there's a picture of him on the, after that, like holding the Dolphins cap, like shrugging. It would be perfect if he went to the Dolphins just so we could reissue that photo. You know what I mean?
That was a weird move. People got upset about LeBron James wearing a Yankees hat
Yeah. That's a different
back in
sport.
like 2007.
Yeah. So Kaepernick wore that and Dolphins is a weird hat to It's not like people are going like, I got to get one of those Dolphin logo hats.
No, it's not. It's not one of the brand logos in sports like the Yankees or the Red Sox.
Right. I mean, the Bears, you could bet that he might be a little better than Mitch Trubisky.
Well, I saw someone on Twitter last night say that he was better than Jared Goff right now, and that's when I had to sign out for the night.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, I think that was maybe just
something else.
I don't know if that guy was serious or not, but
he was. Those people are always serious.
Yeah. Well, what I saw in my YouTube comments was something that I thought was pretty funny, and I wish we would have thought of this to play with in the episode. But the person was like, "What would Kaepernick's workout be like? Would it just be the NFL playing the national anthem to see if he stands or kneels the whole time?" And I thought,
I like it.
If you and I came up with like a regiment where he was throwing 3 deep passes, the song plays, you just kind of see how Colin Kaepernick reacts. Okay, he's cool. Then you keep going with the workout, but you keep testing him. It's got to be like surprise moments where the anthem starts playing because you need a genuine response. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you play like the first 3 notes and see if he takes a sack, like if he self-sacks, like Peyton Manning.
And then somebody else, because I think in the intro I said like the NFL, I was like making fun of the NFL discussing the situation. They're like, well, if we're going to consider giving AB like his 10th chance or whatever, we should consider giving Kaepernick his 2nd chance. And somebody in the comments was like, well, he shouldn't have ever had his original chance taken away from him. Like putting him in the same category as needing a 2nd chance isn't really like fair to the circumstances.
Well, he played himself out of his first chance.
That's fair too.
Regardless, if he was the same quarterback that he was early in his career, despite all the kneeling, he would absolutely have had a job in the league after 2016.
Yeah. No, I think that's right.
Teams don't give up good quarterbacks.
No, it's a commodity that is very hard to come by, which we all know. Okay. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Keep our eyes out on Saturday
after this workout. I know the league and AB are meeting today, but who the hell knows what that means?
Fuckers.
Let's talk, which is a good segue into the 5 most annoying subplots of this NFL season. Like the news or the stories that we just get tired of hearing. So I think we'll start with Antonio Brown.
You have to, yeah. It speaks for itself, and the only reason it's not higher is because a lot of it, the majority of it, happened prior to the start of the season.
Yeah, it really made for my best August of all time, and gave me false expectations of what the rest of the season could be.
It was a very wild 3 days before the season started, where he went from a Raider to a nobody to a Patriot in about 20, maybe like 12 hours actually.
Yeah, and then of course,
but truly horrific stuff.
He just doesn't get it.
We're all dumber for having listened to him.
Yeah, he doesn't get it at all. It's like
you're right. Yeah, no, he doesn't.
I don't know how the NFL can consider. I mean, I agree they need to hear his side of the story, but once he said "fuck the NFL" on both of his social media accounts, and then later was like, "Sorry, my emotions just got the best of me." I mean, like That's
When
your
have they
whole
not?
problem. Like your emotions get the best of you every single day. Like this is why no team wants to work with him despite the outrageous talent he has. It's just like, if they're willing to deal with that, though, it gives me a lot of hope, Will.
Yeah, I guess so.
Gives me a lot of hope somebody's going to be willing to deal with us.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if they can handle Antonio Brown, they can handle the CBA in a timely fashion.
Yeah, that's true. He's prepping them. If anybody's screwing the players, it's AB and
Yeah,
getting the NFL too ready to handle anything.
you're absolutely right. Okay,
Okay.
so my fourth most annoying subplot of the season. I don't know if you agree with me on this one, but it's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, more specifically the Mahomes injury. People reacting to the injury like it was the assassination of John F. Kennedy. People asking, where were you when Patrick Mahomes dislocated his kneecap and had to miss 2 games? Stuff like that. And then, of course, they put Matt Moore in and nothing changes. The offense is probably actually a little bit better. Doesn't really matter as long as Tyreek Hill's in there. I guess you can tag Tyreek Hill onto this whole annoying Chiefs story too, because he broke his kid's arm and didn't really face any consequences for it. Stuff like that.
Well, to be fair,
basically,
he or his wife broke the
Chiefs.
kid's arm. We don't know for sure.
They probably did it together.
I think with the Mahomes injury, the thing I found annoying was all the criticism given to Andy Reid for running a QB sneak.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like, I get if your quarterback's a little banged up, maybe you don't do that. But we have seen the least athletic quarterback in Tom Brady run that play hundreds of times.
It's a perfection, yeah.
Always with success. So when you got a guy like Mahomes who is athletically gifted, like, it was a weird freak accident. It can happen on any play. Like, I just thought criticizing that was the annoying part of it. A bit.
Very annoying. The part where on Sunday Night Football they cut to Patrick Mahomes on the sideline 40 different times. Not great. And also, like, we're doing all this for a quarterback who's won like 7 of his last 13 games, I think.
Ooh, Will,
that he's played like the whole game.
The hot Mahomes stats.
So let's cool down a little bit. This isn't, this is no great American tragedy. He missed a couple weeks. Get over it.
And then he came back
Another
through
thing
for
people
400.
need to get over, and this is going away from our rivals to our team, which has been just as annoying, if not more so. The Drew Lock injured reserve plot line saga, whatever you want to call it. This has been absolutely just the most obnoxious thing that's happened to me in decades. Who cares? First of all, it's not gonna matter in 5 years. Probably not gonna matter next year. He's gonna get on the field. He was hurt. They're trying to win games. You can't plan your whole season around a backup quarterback. I know you want to see what you have in him, but it's a 53-man team. Very annoying. People using it as a way to, I don't know, show the front office's incompetence or whatever. Anyway, this whole thing got so grating, and he's finally on the field now. And for that, couldn't be more happy.
He got 10 reps in practice today or yesterday.
Yeah.
10 big reps, Will. I don't know. I think I get that you would have liked to get him practicing a little bit earlier, but I think in the long run, you're probably right. And I think maybe the benefit from it is giving Brandon Allen a test run, because what I feel like we've learned about quarterbacks is you don't know until you see them play. And right. This season, there's a lot of guys who have looked good that you wouldn't have put any money on to look good before the season started. And if you find Brandon Allen and he turns out to be a starter for you, then Drew Lock doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter that you used a second round pick on him. You just got to find a quarterback. So
Right.
him being hurt maybe gives Brandon Allen a chance he would have never received before. So I think there's always like, you can look at it a bunch of different ways and might be a positive
and
thing.
I'm gonna let everyone in on a little secret about this offseason. If they're in position to take someone that they like at quarterback, they're gonna do it regardless.
That's also true. That's the other thing. You just keep taking quarterbacks till you fucking find one.
They're not. If they have a chance to take like Justin Herbert or Tua or whoever, Joe Burrow, don't think that's gonna happen, but they'll take him.
Oh, and you're right. Joe Burrow does look like Jim Brewer.
He does, yeah. And I just realized how close their names are too.
Oh yeah, both JBs. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh well. Okay, so you've got London as another subplot.
Yeah, this is one I couldn't really think of one. But
well, I would have put the
Chargers
referee
to London thing hurt my brain. The way they're going to realign the divisions and possibly the conferences makes no sense to me. I guess I'll add this to like the Chargers stadium debacle. The fact that they're not even going to be able to sell out their new stadium in LA with home fans. Every game they play is on the road this year. I'm tired of their shit. Just fucking move back to San Diego. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm done with it. Yeah. There you go.
Fair enough. I would have put the referee, the officials in there as an annoying subplot.
That's a good one. That's also a good one.
I mean, and it's everything from the pass interference rule that they just don't acknowledge as a real review, the inconsistent calls and the continued roughing the passer debacles. The whole thing has just been really annoying, and I'm really tired of it being like something that comes up every single week. So
it is
either one of those. And I think number one is a really good one too. You have the Browns.
The Browns that we talked about them all season.
Have you seen a team as bad as the Browns get as much attention as they've had this year in the NFL?
No, absolutely not. And the worst thing is, even now, I was watching NFL Network this morning before we did this, and they're previewing the Steelers-Browns game tonight, talking about how the Steelers are already in the playoffs. They're talking about the Browns' playoff chances, what the Browns need to do to get into the playoffs.
I think the Browns are favored too, aren't they? Yeah, they're 2.5-point favorites.
Despicable.
That's crazy.
I hope they lose by 45.
Yeah, you're off the Browns.
Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry are 2-5, 2-6, wearing shoes that are designed solely to get them suspended, and I don't get it. I don't get the fascination around this team. I don't think Odell Beckham's a particularly likable character. I think Baker Mayfield's just a huge try-hard at this point, especially when he can't back anything up.
Yeah, you got to back it up.
Their head coach is a dunce. He's simply a dunce.
That was like the choice to have him as head coach didn't make any sense.
It didn't.
I think like you get locked on the idea that maybe Kitchens and Baker had some chemistry with the offense or something.
We'll make him keep him as the offensive coordinator.
Right. And listening to Freddie Kitchens talk is what has made me go, why? How did that guy sell you on he was the leader for this team?
Right. Yeah. And being a head coach is so much more responsibility than being a quarterback's coach or even an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. And
you run the team.
Yeah.
You are the CEO of the 53-man roster.
Not good when Greg Williams, right? Greg Williams out head coached you. But to be fair, much
better team with Greg Williams right now.
Yeah, he's had the experience to handle that shit.
Right. He's a dickhead, but he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah, that's the Browns, and that was one thing I was definitely wrong about this year. I thought they might be good.
Same. Oh, well, no, actually, that's something I was right about. I thought they would underachieve. I didn't think they'd be this bad, though.
I was wrong about Baker Mayfield. I thought he was going to continue to progress because he did look good last year, and that's hard to do, I feel like, as a rookie. And he has not looked good this year. I think he's played a little bit better the last 2 weeks. He didn't play terrible against the Broncos, but I was wrong about Baker. I was wrong about Lamar Jackson. I was right about Josh Allen. So I thought both Lamar and Josh Allen were going to struggle this year. And
he's 6-3.
Well, he's 6-3, but he hasn't.
He's gotten a little bit better.
He hasn't won his team like a lot of games.
He hasn't taken the same step that Lamar Jackson has, obviously.
But I think I was right about him getting a little bit better, but he still doesn't look like a great quarterback yet. He looks like he has all the skills, but he hasn't put it all together yet. And I thought we were going to see what we're seeing out of Josh Allen is what I thought we would see out of both Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. And I was completely wrong about Lamar Jackson. And part of that is because – and I didn't – going into the draft, I thought Jackson was a decent passer. And then last year he looked like he was going to struggle as a passer. This year he's been better, but I don't think I realized how Harbaugh was going to transform that team to fit his players' crazy skills. And we talked, I think, a little bit about that last week. So that was a surprise to me. The Raiders, I was wrong about the Raiders. I thought they were going to be terrible, and they're average. They're an average football team. They're heading in the right direction now. And I was wrong about the Colts. I thought everything was going to go to shit once Andrew Luck retired. But they were pretty good with Jacoby. And then Jacoby went down, and they were not very good. So I think that speaks to Jacoby Brissett as being a better quarterback than I think he even still gets credit for, because Brian Hoyer, not so good.
No. It just shows that you need all three quarterbacks to win in this league, or else.
You have three great starters, or you're not going to win.
What it tells you is you need Chad Kelly in the lineup.
Man.
This week.
I wanted to see Chad
Even
Kelly
if
play.
Brissett's healthy. Okay, so I was wrong about the 49ers. I think I said they'd be 6-10. That was very incorrect. They've already got 8 wins. I was also wrong about the Broncos. I thought they'd be better. I thought they were about 9-7.
We were both wrong about that.
Technically, it could still happen, but I don't. I wouldn't count on it. And also, I said the week before the year, or the week one, Seattle had the worst receiving core in the league.
That's right. We did talk about that.
Not correct about that one. DK Metcalf's been really good. Tyler Lockett's been close to a number one. Will Dissly was awesome when he was playing.
Yeah. That's a lot of credit to Russell Wilson. Doug Baldwin retired, and he was really their number one guy, and I thought that would hurt them more than it did. And now they're making it work with Jacob Hollister in at tight end.
Yeah, he randomly comes in and catches like 3 touchdowns in 2 weeks.
So it's when you have a great passer like Russell Wilson, that helps quite a bit, and he's elevating the level of play of his receivers.
Right. I was right about the Browns.
You're very right about the Browns. They're not good.
I'll take a victory lap there. I was right about the Bears as well, although they're probably worse than I thought.
Yeah, you called their regression as well.
This might be more than a regression, though.
Yeah, an identity crisis.
Yeah, and then I was right about the Packers, too.
Being great or being very good.
I think I nailed that NFC North.
There you go. Yeah, I think we both thought the NFC North was going to be really competitive because we thought the Bears would be really good, and the Lions being better is kind of made up for that, for us being wrong about the Bears.
They've been better. Just not reflected.
Their record's not, they're a competitive football team.
Yeah.
All right. You want to just jump into these picks? Bang through them real quick?
Let's roll through them.
Okay. Steelers, Browns, Thursday Night Football. This game is already over, so both Will and I are incorrect. Browns are favored here by 2.5. I'm gonna take the Steelers though.
Oh yeah, I'm taking this. I mean, I said it earlier. I hope they get beat by 40 points. I don't think it's going to be that many, but I think the Steelers, they're just so well. Look at it this way. Who are you taking between Mike Tomlin and Freddie Kitchens?
Tomlin.
By how much? Like, how much better is he?
Oh, so much better.
On a scale of 1 to 10, like, what's the difference?
8 points.
That's worth a win, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Even on the road on a short week, I'm taking Tomlin.
He's Tomlin,
done so much with
Mason Rudolph
really and offense.
Yeah. And I think the Steelers defense is playing really good football. Obviously, Minka Fitzpatrick, but even like TJ Watt, like they're doing it on all three levels.
Yeah.
Fixing the linebacker position since, Shazier went down. So, yeah, we'll take the Steelers there. Then we got the Jets and Redskin potatoes. Washington favored by 1 point.
Oh, why?
Because they're at home, I guess.
I guess.
I mean,
Does
Jets.
That matter?
The Jets just beat the Giants.
They're going to be more Jets
right?
fans, probably.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Jets beat the Giants. Adam Gase's job is apparently safe. So,
give me the Jets. I'll take the Jets.
I think I'll take the Jets too. Dwayne Haskins is starting, so Darius Geis should be back though. That's something to keep an eye on, especially for fantasy football players out there.
Yeah, for the fantasy nerds.
Okay, so we'll both take the Jets there. Then you got Jaguars at the Colts. Colts favored by 3. Nick Foles is back. Jacoby Brissett is back. I'm actually excited to see Nick Foles play because he threw one impressive touchdown pass before he broke his collarbone.
Touchdown. That it was so beautiful that it shattered his collarbone.
Shattered it. Although in his press conference, Nick Foles got a little too preachy for my liking. Credited Jesus just a little too much for breaking his collarbone and then teaching him
Thank you God for breaking my bones. Thank you for destroying my body.
Thank you. I admire that you could be grateful for an injury in that situation. And whatever you got to use to get through the day, I support, but it got a little too preachy. And I know when I was injured, I started to believe in Satan. So
yeah.
And look at what it turned me into.
If God keeps like breaking your bones to like test your faith in him, God's coming off as a little insecure. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, but
God's been a little needy with Nick Foles.
If you preach God that much and he gives you the nickname Big Dick Nick based on factual evidence, then Nick Foles might have the best case for the existence of God on earth.
You got a point. Yeah, and last night we were texting about how faith in God may be the ultimate dick pill.
Yes.
So we all know that, before my date on Monday, I'm going to church.
Dear God, please help me.
My God is an awesome God.
Because he gave me a giant cock. That's my favorite hymn. My favorite hymn. Man, I don't know. I want to take the Colts because I want them to keep winning. But something my gut says Jacksonville's going to win. I'm going to take Jags.
I'm taking the Colts. I think they get a boost, obviously, from Brissett coming back. I think Frank Reich is too good of a coach to lose 3 games in a row against mediocre teams and the Dolphins.
I'm taking a risk.
Speaking of the Dolphins, the Bills are traveling to Miami. They just came off of a loss against the Browns. Dolphins coming off 2 straight wins. Dolphins need to turn things around.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter, I think it was a PFT headline. It was Brian Flores says Dolphins need to forget about last week. And
Yeah.
I didn't click on the article to see the context, but they won last week. So it's really funny. And maybe that's what made the article was like making that joke. Again, I did not read it. But yeah, forget about last week. Start winning again. I mean, losing again.
Gotta put that behind us.
But as long as they
fellas.
start Ryan Fitzpatrick, they're going to get a fighting effort out of their quarterback.
Exactly.
Have a chance to win.
This is what we knew would happen. He's going to play with fire. He's going to win you a few games just based off of that Harvard grit.
Harvard grit.
He was running the ball last week. He was throwing the ball all over the yard.
He runs a lot. You forget.
They should sign Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah. Man. I think the Bills have maybe a top 3 defense, maybe top 2 defense in the league, keeping that team in games every week. But
so we made fun of the Browns.
The Bills haven't had a tough schedule either.
No. We made fun of the Browns for having 8 plays inside the 3, I think, and not scoring.
Right.
But you also have to give the Bills defense credit for having 8 plays inside the 3 and not allowing the Browns offense to score.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the Bills stopped them in another within the 5-yard line later in the game before they eventually lost. So I'll take the Bills in this.
Yeah.
All
Cowboys at Lions. Dallas is favored by 4.5. I don't think we're going to see Matt Stafford. I think it's still up in the air, but he's got
fractured bones in his back.
Fractures in his back, which sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Cowboys to bounce back in Detroit.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys will win as well.
Very confusing uniform matchup in this game.
Yeah, it's like the Thanksgiving game, just a little early. Although they don't play against each other on Thanksgiving, but Texans, Ravens. Ravens favored by 4. This is a great quarterback matchup.
It is, yeah.
I would rather be watching this game in the morning than Broncos Vikings, based on a pure football matchup.
Some tremendous bullshit that we couldn't flex this one into the Sunday night game.
Oh yeah, that would have been awesome. The Texans don't have J.J. Watt anymore because of injury, and we just saw Jadeveon Clowney dominate a game. He was great for the Seahawks against the 49ers. Probably could be helping the Houston defense right about now. Lamar Jackson was asked about Deshaun Watson. He was very complimentary of Watson, and they asked if he sees a little bit of himself in Watson, and Lamar said, "No, I play Lamar Jackson ball. I don't play anyone else ball." Which puts a little fear into me that this could be the downfall of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, referring to yourself in the third person is typically where things start to go downhill. Yeah.
He might be that elite where he just continues to excel, but it scares me a little bit. Man. The Ravens, though, their defense is starting to play better. They can just beat you so many ways. Deshaun Watson – I think Deshaun Watson's a little bit better overall quarterback than Lamar Jackson right now.
He is.
But I don't trust Houston's defense. I'm going to go with the Ravens.
I am going to take the Texans.
Ooh. Okay. Falcons, Panthers. Falcons coming off a big win over the Saints. Panthers are favored by 6 at home.
Yeah, I think the Falcons have a little bit of momentum coming off of beating the Saints, so I'm going to take them on the road.
Falcons will be without Austin Hooper, though. He's out for a month with an MCL sprain.
Yeah, not great.
I hear a doggy. Shit. I'll take the Panthers. At home.
Okay, Saints at Buccaneers. Saints are favored by 5.5 on the road. Buccaneers had kind of a weird win against the Cardinals last week.
Yeah.
Got away with pass interference on the last play.
Got a little lucky.
I mean, I'm taking the Saints to bounce back.
I'm going to take the Saints. And I think this might be – you remember last year, was it like week 2 when the Saints and Tampa Bay played when Drew Brees and Ryan Fitzpatrick just each threw like 6 and 5 touchdowns or 4 and 5 touchdowns? And it was kind of like a barn burner.
Yeah.
I think it'll be like that, but it'll just be the Saints doing it this week.
Yeah, barn burner, yes.
The Saints played bad last week.
They played really bad.
I think they bounce back. Big win for the Saints.
Were they 2-2 with Drew Brees and 6-0 with
Teddy B?
Teddy, or 5-0 with Teddy? Something like that.
Has Drew Brees fallen off the quarterback cliff?
Are the Saints a better team with Teddy Bridgewater?
Ooh, hot take Thursday.
Are they? Should they forcefully re-break Drew Brees' thumb for him?
Wow.
To give him the excuse and not be embarrassed on the field of play. Just things I've been thinking about. Which brings us to our game.
Broncos, Vikings. Man, Minnesota 10.5-point favorites. Broncos get a win over the Browns, and they can't even get any credibility in Vegas.
A win over the playoff-bound Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
According to most people. Unreal.
I don't feel good about this game.
No, I'm taking the Vikings.
I think the Broncos are going to cover that spread, though. I'm going to go on record as saying.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
It doesn't look like
you got the Kubiak connection here.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 fairly similar offensive philosophies. A lot of guys that know the other's play style. Kubiak knows the defense for the most part. And then there's like defenders like Von Miller, Chris Harris that know the Kubiak offense. So I'm curious to see what happens there.
Is Rick Dennison employed with the Vikings right now?
I don't think so.
He is the offensive line coach and run game coordinator for the Vikings. Yeah, because Kubiak, his deal was like he had to bring all his guys. Look, the Vikings offense is clicking. They might not have Adam Thielen, which I think is big. And the Broncos defense still not getting the credit it deserves.
Yeah, I think Chris Harris can definitely hang with Diggs if that's all it comes down to. And then you put you Devontae Harris matched up against Laquan Treadwell. I don't think that's going to scare anybody.
And, Kyle Rudolph just had a big game for the Vikings, but Alexander Johnson really making a difference for the Broncos in their linebacker, tight end coverages. So I don't think Minnesota's going to have as big of a day passing. Dalvin Cook obviously might be a real issue, but
I mean, but the Broncos have been pretty sturdy against the run too since
Leonard Fournette, right?
Yeah, pretty much since putting Purcell and Johnson in the lineup. They really haven't gotten terribly gashed by anybody. They held up against Chubb last week and then Marlon Mack the week before. I have faith
they can slow him down, but
they could, yeah.
But Cook's good enough where I think Cook's better than the Vikings passing game, especially without Adam Thielen. But it's interesting that the Vikings offense is working so well. And I believe Elway wanted Kubiak to stay in Denver, but didn't want Dennison and some of the other personnel there. But I think Kubiak and Rich Scangarello would have been a good match for each other. Like that.
Yeah, probably.
That would have been a good marriage if Kubiak was open to the idea. But it's nice to see them succeeding in Minnesota. Minnesota's like a team that I don't have to feel bad about if they're doing all right. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not. No, unbelievable that team has not won a Super Bowl.
I know, it's crazy.
You really think about it, how many good teams they've had. Not to depress any Vikings fans.
Sorry,
that
Vikings
might be
fans.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law will be at that game, so hopefully I get some new Viking Stadium footage from Mike. But I think Minnesota will win.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
We're going to pick the Vikings.
Okay. Cardinals at 49ers. I think we're probably both taking the 49ers here.
Yeah. Also, I think spread's a little high.
I was going to say the same thing. They just played, and it was a pretty close game. Yeah, don't like the spread. I even thought about the Cardinals for a second. Because I said my rules, I'm not picking against the 49ers until they lose. And you know what they did? They lost last week.
They lost. So
Cardinals played pretty tough. I think Kyler Murray's really starting to come on here.
Yeah.
Yes, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they came in and upset them.
I might have been wrong about Cliff Kingsbury. I think he's doing a decent job as a head coach.
He is.
We were right about Vance Joseph, though. Cardinals defense still not great. I'm not saying there's a ton of talent. I mean, there is some talent on the defense, but they gotta.
Chandler Jones is second in sacks, or maybe tied for first with Shaq Barrett.
Oh shit, yeah. But they got to get better defensively before they're a serious team. So we'll both pick the Niners.
They're a silly team now. They're not a serious team.
Patriots Eagles.
Oh baby.
This could be a good game. New England favored by 3.5. Tom Brady said now he feels so good he can play until he's 46 or 47. So I hope he fucking just gets annihilated in this game.
Give me the Eagles.
Oh.
They've won. The Eagles have beat them the last 2 times they played.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to take the Eagles too. Obviously, very hopefully.
Stadium will be absolutely pumped.
But the last year, middle of the season, the Eagles didn't look great, and then they kind of started to pull it together.
Yep. Feel
like they can do it again. They've had a lot of defensive injuries, but I think Doug Peterson knows how to coach and play against the Patriots. So upset. Bengals, Raiders. Man, Raiders favored by 10.5. That's 3 of the last 4 games are huge
by both teams.
Huge spreads. What'd you say?
I think it's a big spread, but I think both teams have earned it.
Yeah, Raiders, like we said, are an average football team, and the Bengals are that bad. And they looked a lot worse with Ryan Finley.
Defense looked a lot worse too. Yeah.
They just weren't good. They're in the driver's seat for the number 1 pick. Raiders, they win.
They sure do.
But maybe it's a little closer than it should be. Well, I don't know. I don't know how to make that game interesting. Bears at Rams, 2 underperforming teams facing off on Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football.
This is a game we thought was going to be
with Alan Chris.
A great November game.
Nope.
And now it's 2 teams really struggling to find themselves.
Yeah, who do you think's taking a bigger dip from last year, Trubisky or Goff?
Good question. I think you got to say Goff because he was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I think – and because I think there were still questions about Trubisky, everybody kind of just started to assume Jared Goff was the guy. Aqib Talib was still very high on Jared Goff, very complimentary of him. I heard him in an interview saying he was a great quarterback.
I think he'll be all right long term, probably. I don't think he's going to – I could see a scenario where he never gets back to where he was in 2018.
Yeah.
Because that was a really, a truly standout season for him, but for any quarterback. But the scary part for the Rams is that this could be who he is going forward. And he signed a massive extension.
Yeah.
And that extension hasn't even kicked in yet. The extension technically doesn't begin until next season.
Yeah, that means you better fix him. You better fix him. And you
better take him to the shop.
The optimism there is once you've seen a guy do it, I feel like he can repeat it. If you've never seen him do it, that's when you're really screwed. You know what I mean? But
right.
I think it will be hard for him to get back to playing consistently the way he was last year. Worst case scenario, though, well, not worst case, but a case of scenarios is he's a streaky quarterback, so he might be able to go on a tear for a few games every now and then and kind of do that. But their run game hasn't been as effective, and their defense hasn't been as good. And letting Marcus Peters go was interesting. Aqib Talib's gone. So now you just have Jalen Ramsey and you're trying to figure that out.
I'm not sure how they're going to make that team work financially going forward.
Yeah, they've got a lot of money questions.
They have money tied up in Todd Gurley and Jared Goff, who we're not sure what's wrong with either of them at this point.
No. But that said, I think I'll take the Rams at home.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams too. Okay, last game of the week, and this is in La Ciudad de Mexico. For all the non-Spanish speakers out there, that's the city of Mexico, Mexico City. We got the Chiefs at the LA Chargers here. Give me – I'm stuck with this one. You go ahead.
I'm going to take the Chiefs. I think Patrick Mahomes will be a little bit healthier. I think the Chargers did they just win or lose?
They just lost to Oakland.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, they're going – they can't put it together. It's tough because I feel like this is a great game where Phillip Rivers is going to bounce back and play pretty good, but he's been making a lot of mistakes this year, and when he's not making mistakes, it seems like other guys are. I'm going to take the Chiefs. It's a weird neutral site. The field supposedly is in better shape this time around.
I hope so.
I think the Chiefs are a little bit better of a team. If Mahomes is playing well, they're a lot better team.
You'd hate to see someone do a laser pointer in Mahomes' eyes.
Did it happen in Mexico last time?
Yeah.
I'm
not endorsing that, by the way.
No. Chiefs are banged up on the offensive line, though, and Bosa and Ingram are feeling like they're just starting to find
Jerry Tillery, your favorite player from the draft.
My favorite. Tillery's tearing it up, man.
I don't think so, but
dude, he is doing so good right now.
You've been keeping up with the old T-Dog?
Sometimes it's just fun to take a guy and say he's going to be great, because if you're right, you look very smart.
And if you're wrong, usually people forget about it, but not me.
Not Will.
No, we're not rushing any Jerry Tillery judgments on this show.
No.
People, the Noah Fant deniers, they got shown up last week.
Tillery has 1.5 sacks, Will.
Coming in hot.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
That on our team.
Who are you taking? I'm
going to take the Chargers, and here's my reasoning. I was about to call him Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, I heard that.
Phillip Rivers, two very different people. Phillip Rivers, from the South. What's more South than Mexico?
Oh, South
Correct
America?
Answer is most of the globe.
All of
However,
South America.
They don't play football anywhere south of here.
That's true. I mean, they play football, but that's getting too technical.
Yeah. Plus those passes he throws, those shot put passes he throws, those crossing routes that hang in the air forever. Those things are just going to hang up for minutes. He can throw those balls so early in Mexico City and avoid the pass rush. He's going to do great. Yeah,
the thinnest air of football you will play is in Mexico City. 7,000 plus feet of elevation, right? 7,000 or 6 something. It's high.
7.
Neither team's practicing at the Air Force Base in Colorado like the Patriots did, so they're both going to be very tired.
The Chargers got to play in Oakland, California, which, as we know, is known for its elevation of roughly 5 feet, maybe 5-10 feet.
Yeah, Kansas City's not a lot higher.
Yeah. A little bit, I'm sure. Why not?
What is the elevation of Kansas City? It is 909 feet.
Now we're talking.
They are 909 feet more ready for this game than the Chargers.
That's a good point. But you know what cities in the United States are most like Mexico? San Diego and Los Angeles.
Ooh, wow. I don't know how Vegas can even pick a winner here. Dead even. Got a tie. I take the Chiefs. You take the Chargers. That's the final answer.
That's it.
Important game for the Chiefs to win. I will say that, because if they lose, things get really interesting in the AFC West.
Things are getting spicy.
I mean,
with the Raiders.
A lot of losses happening.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to the podcast. Don't know why you keep coming back, but you do.
Thanks for doing that.
We love it. We love it hard.